If you're a woman married to a sex addict, what's going on? How are you feeling? And how can you respond to that? Sexual addiction is becoming more and more common. It's happening in the church. It's not just out of the church. Probably about 1 in 6 sex addicts are women, but 5 out of the 6 are men. And occasionally I run across a woman who says, I'm fine, I don't mind pornography, I watch it with my husband or watch it myself. But most women are very traumatized and very negatively affected by their husband's sexual addiction, whether that's compulsive use of pornography or nightclubs with going to striptease bars, and definitely prostitutes would be a problem, or having a lot of one-night stands, or chat rooms on the internet where there's sexual content in the conversation, or acting out sexually by video with somebody. Most women that's really painful for them, and if it has been hidden, which it typically is hidden, when they find out about it, they're shocked and they're in a lot of pain. So just having their husbands look at porn for a lot of women is hard, because porn stars have gorgeous bodies and they're extremely sexual and sensual, and women will feel like their husband's cheating on them because they're looking at another woman and they're becoming aroused and they're thinking about having sex with her. And in addition, women will not feel good about their own bodies because they feel like, I'm not as beautiful as that woman, and I'm not as sexy, and I'm not as sensual. So it brings a lot of doubt into the woman's self-image and into her sexual relationship with her husband. So also there's pressure, because one typical sign that your spouse is looking at pornography on the internet and engaging these other things is they will either begin to want more sex and ask for sex in different things within the sexual activities that are not normal for your relationship, whether that's asking you to do something that you've never done before, if it's asking to watch pornography during sex, or to have a threesome, which is often what's asked for. This is a sign that spouse is looking at something that's not the typical, because it's bringing in like new ideas. Also, sex can become very lustful rather than loving and caring. It can begin to feel that it's all about your spouse just getting aroused and having an orgasm, rather than caring about loving and giving and being, touch, soft, loving touch, and communicating and being intimate with the partner. So the other thing is emotional pain, because women find that painful, that idea that they think that their spouse is, one, lying, two, maybe being unfaithful if there's any actual sexual acting out, or even just lusting after another woman or women in the videos. The other thing is sometimes a sex addict will actually withdraw from the relationship emotionally and sexually, to where when the sex addiction is very active, there will be a complete pulling away, and the sex addict might even have trouble having sex with his spouse, and even being able to perform, because the focus is always on this other stimulus and the other things that are going on, and it's a pulling away of the intimacy in the relationship. Shame, it's very shameful to admit this problem to other people. To admit your husband's a sex addict feels like you have failed, to feel like you're not good enough, you're not enough. Maybe you feel like, if only I had been willing to have more sex, or if I had been sexier, my spouse would have not been driven to this pornography. So it's this shame of feeling not okay. Maybe it's the shame of admitting that things aren't perfect to people on the outside. Then it might even be the question of, what do I tell people? Can I tell all my friends or my friends, close friends, my spouse is a sex addict, or is that too personal? Can I tell my adult children, or is that too personal to tell them what's going on with their dad? These are very real questions. And the final thing that happens when you find out about the sexual addiction is the obsession. And this is common when you find out that a family member or loved one is dealing with any type of addiction, is to become obsessed with their person's addiction. So the person is acting out on the addiction, and you're acting out on the obsession over the person's addiction, which is thinking about it all the time, checking up on it, wondering, what are you doing? When is it being done? How often? So it's checking the computer, checking the charge card statements, checking all this stuff that's going on to figure out when's he doing it, when's he doing it. And this constant fear and worry that it's happening. And that can literally take over your life and can just cause you to begin to have trouble taking care of yourself, going to work, doing what you need to do. And that's where that codependency, or what's called co-addiction, really kind of ramps up, and you get to the point where you're not able to manage even your own life. So that's important to recognize how women are affected by their husband's sexual addiction. And so in later videos, I'll do how do you respond to it? How do you handle it? So thanks for watching this video on Change My Relationship, and please let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you.